Hi, and welcome to Omni Edition Garden City. I am Dan York, and as you can see with us, we have members of the Garden City Police Department. Bruce Shippie, Garden City's Community Resource Officer, welcome back.
Thank you, Dan.
And Tim Gibbons, our Chief of Police, welcome back to this program.
Hi, Dan. Thanks for having us.
We want to talk about the Citizens Police Academy that the Garden City Police Department is putting on, and we joked before we went on here about the movie Police Academy for Citizens on Patrol. Not exactly that kind of situation. Bruce, tell us what the Citizens Police Academy is going to be.
So the Academy is going to be a 10-week program. It's directed toward members of our community, whether they're a business owner or a resident. Come in, spend 10 weeks with us every Tuesday from 6:30 to 9:30. And in return, what we're going to do is expose them to the different aspects of policing, how the department works, what it's like to be in a detective bureau, the special groups that we have. And our hopes is just for them to leave as a better informed member of our community and know what we do.
So the deadline to apply, because there is a limit as to how many people you can take into the Citizens Academy, correct?
Correct. 16 people is our limit, and March 25th is the deadline.
All right. So they can find the forms online at the police department's portion of the city's website, right?
Correct, yes.
All right. And they email those back to you. They take them in and drop them off in person. What do they do?
Drop them off, because the last page, we do need a signature on there, so they can type them up, print them off online, sign it, and drop it off at the front desk, and the officers will get it back to me.
Okay. And this is part of a broader thing that the police department is trying to do, obviously, and mostly through Bruce.
Correct.
But to reach out into the community, to be a bigger part of the community. You have a lot of younger officers. We used to have guys that grew up in the community and knew the community well. You have a lot of younger officers now that aren't necessarily familiar as some of us old guys are with the community. Right. But this is part of a broader plan that you have for the department.
Yeah, this is just one more piece into our attempt and I think success at engaging with the community. We've adopted a philosophy and always have had it, but we're really taking it to another level, is that we want to better understand what the community wants from us and better help the community better understand why we do what we do and how we do it. There's a win-win there. One, they have a better understanding of how the police department works, especially with the Citizens Academy, because they'll get a real in-depth look. 16 people will to start. But it also gives us great perspective on what our community expects from us. And we know how we think policing should do. That's our job. But it's always good to go to the person who you're serving and find out what they want from you. And when they're telling you what they want from you, it's always good for them to have an understanding of why you do what you do in the first place. So, this program is going to be a little more intimate than when we go to Cop on the Block or when we go to Coffee with a Canine. We're just, anybody who wants to show up, we're looking to interact with and have. This will be a little bit more of an intimate to get 16 people to start, an understanding of why their police department, how it operates, how police officers come to make decisions in cases like when they decide to make an arrest, how they do an investigation, how they write a ticket, why, what goes through their thought process. We think it's really important for people to understand that perspective. So much of understanding, especially local government, is having citizens have perspective on how we come to the decisions we make. So this is just one piece of that. And we're hoping, based on this first run of it, that we can just keep doing this over and over again. I'm sure we'll change the program as we go. We'll find good things, we'll find bad things, we'll change as we go. But I'm really hoping that this is just 16 people on the first one. And then we keep getting 16, 16, and 16 after that. And throughout, our goal is to get as many people in our community through this as we possibly can.
And the relationship between the police department and the public has changed, and a lot of it has to do with social media. Yes. It's the fact that things get blown up, small incidents get taken, and then turned into national events.
Correct.
So I guess it's very important that you guys are able to react in real time to the perspective that people have and the impression that people have about policing.
Correct. It only takes one social media comment for people to start wondering, and sometimes they're very valid ones. People ask questions in social media like, hey, why do they do this? Why didn't they do this? For us to respond to those every time doesn't help anybody because, as social media works, it just doesn't. But if we could educate our community as a whole on why we do, just from a basic standpoint, I think that'll answer a lot of their questions when they see these things and help them make informed decisions when they go to the polls, when they interact with police. We only benefit when the public sees what we do. I think we are a pretty good police department, and I think we only do more by showing people exactly what we come out to do every day and how they can make us better by letting us know what they think.
Very good. Let's talk more about the Police Academy itself, or the Citizens Academy itself. Where did you get the idea from? I'm sure there's other communities doing this in the country.
Yeah, it's nothing new. There's other communities that are doing it. I took a look at those various programs. And interesting enough, when we did the research before our time here, 1997, the department actually hosted one of these.
Okay.
So looked like it was a phenomenal success back then, and we're hoping to make it even better today.
And we used to have reserves and that sort of thing. We don't do that anymore. And that's not what this is leading to, right? This is just more educational for folks.
Correct. This is more educational, and the other nice part is it's an opportunity for them to meet the different instructors. So 10 members of the department are going to instruct. It'll be a different person each week.
That's nice.
So they'll get some interaction, and like the chief pointed out, it's a great opportunity once they're informed that they'll be able to share with us some ideas that they have. Maybe there's things that we could do better or do different. Maybe there's things we haven't even thought about adding to our various programs, but now that they have an idea of what we do, they'll be better able to share that with us.
And we talked in generalities at the beginning about what it is, but give us some specific examples of what folks might be learning and what they might be doing during the 10 weeks.
Well, you know, like our first course, the chief is going to teach that, and it's an overview of the department. It's about what guides us, you know, policies and procedures, ordinance questions, ordinance violations, and then like our second one, patrol. It covers all the things that we do on patrol as a uniform officer out there with those cars that you see, why we do the things we do, what other avenues we have at solving crime, what things, you know, there's more than just a ticket and arrest. But it's going to go through and explain those processes along with traffic crashes. I mean, you name it. It's a condensed version, and we're just going to keep running through all the groups. Detective Bureau, our firearms program, our defensive tactics programs, special groups, K9, our SWAT teams, our CRT team, and so on. And I think one of the biggest ones that I'm looking for that we talked about is the last class is decision making. So after we've taught the people the things that we felt are important, we're going to give them an opportunity to go out and make some decisions, put them into some scenarios, and see what they think, see how they would address it, and then hear how we actually address it.
Right. I mean, cops are forced to make decisions on a dime. They don't have any time to react. They've got to know what their decision's going to be in a particular situation almost mechanically. Otherwise, somebody might get hurt.
Correct. Yes, sir.
And you have the lucky, the fortune, I guess, of working with a canine dog, Rudy.
Correct.
Everybody loves Rudy. Yep. So in turn, everybody loves Bruce Shippie. And you know, most of your interactions with the community are positive ones.
Correct. Yes,
I mean,
sir.
and again, this is a great thing that you've been able to do with all of these different events. We talked about the coffee with a cop and the cop on the block and all, and we did the bike rodeo over the summertime. And really, this is something that's kind of been lacking from our PD for a while, and mostly it had to do with money. We just didn't have the bodies
Correct.
to do this kind of stuff. But for you, this is a great gig. I mean, you get to see a lot of people and interact with a lot of folks.
Yeah, it's been a phenomenal opportunity, not just for me, but for our canine. There's much more that we can do out here besides the canine work that he does. And he's still available to do those things, and we're out doing those. But early on I realized, and the chief and I had a lot of discussions, the nice part is he's the ambassador for the community. And he gives the people an opportunity to meet me. And while we're doing that and I'm putting my best foot forward, they're going to also meet the other members of the department that
Sure.
I bring here. So he creates an opportunity for the entire department to go out and host events like that, bring people together, make them, give us an opportunity to visit with them and share with them and find out who we are and who they are. So he does a great job, and he's opened up for the department a lot of different venues.
And he's more than an ambassador or a PR piece. He's a real working canine. I mean, he has a real job.
Yeah, that's the best part about it, and I tell a lot of the guys in other communities that, you know, we could take any dog and train him to be social and great, but people want a story.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't have a story behind him, it's not as intriguing to them to come out and meet him and spend some time with us. So.
And he really likes to work.
Yeah.
We had him in here maybe within the last year.
Yeah.
Took the desk out, he sat down on the ground, and he wanted nothing to do with sitting there
Yeah.
for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
He wanted to be out doing something. He wanted to be
Yep.
out doing what he was trained to do, not sitting at your feet on some carpeting in a TV studio.
Yes, correct. He loves to work. So.
And how old is he now?
6.5 now.
Okay. And he will stay with you, right? I mean, even after his police career ends, he kind of lives with you,
Yep,
right?
yes, he'll retire to my home and live out the rest of his career as a pet.
Okay. But he's a real healthy animal, isn't he?
Yeah, he's in good shape with it, so.
And for you as the chief of police, as somebody that has a lineage in this department, as someone who lived in Garden City and grew up in Garden City at one point, it's got to be nice for you to see the interaction between the PD, and obviously you are stewarding this as the chief, but
Correct.
to see the interaction between the PD and the community, and most of it very, very positive.
Yeah, and you hit it on the head. Certainly we took a dip in our ability to interact with the community when our numbers got cut during some of the recession. And as we start to rebuild the department as we come out of it, this is one of the things I thought was most important to focus on is because, in light, and you'd said social media, and we had the events that, post Ferguson, Missouri, with police interaction, and so when those things happen, and it happens at a time where we're just coming out of a financial, where we don't have the ability to get out and make connections. It's important now that we do that we make sure we've maintained that relationship. I'll say this, during the course of all of the post-Ferguson issues, Garden City's been nothing but supportive of its police department. We've always treated them fairly, and I believe they've always treated us fairly. As we came out of that, I thought this is important. They need to know what their police department does for them, and we need to be better for them. And this is one way. And I think it's great when we go to any of these events and when people come visit us. They say, hey, I've got a problem over at this corner with a stop sign. And those are things we wouldn't have known had we not forced the interaction, but created the opportunity for the interaction. I really, and as growing up as a Garden City citizen who always, thought well of the police department and saw how great it was, this is just another opportunity for me to show the community exactly what they've got in their great police department.
And we've been fortunate in that of our last 4 chiefs, 4 out of 5 chiefs have had some sort of Garden City background.
Correct.
Either grew up here or moved here very young, or really had a connection with the community.
Absolutely, and everybody talks about Garden City's a special place, and when you grow up here, or you grow up as Bruce did, just on the border in Westland, you know this community in this area, the hardworking people that work here and live here, and what they want from their community, and how important it is to them. I've been in other communities and seen how they operate, and I'm always proud to see the way they support us and then we support them. And this program only furthers that. I want to maintain that. That's something I never want to lose as a police department in Garden City. We've always had a great connection with the community, and it's just something this program is going to ensure that we maintain that connection. And also we always get offers. There's a tremendous amount of volunteerism in Garden City. And people always want to help the police department. And as this is not a citizens academy, we're not going to do reserves. It's not a reserve academy. It's a citizens academy. As people come out of this, and if they're interested in helping the police department and where we find a need, and we don't have any identifiable volunteer needs in the future that we anticipate, but as we do, these will be the first people we want to call and say, hey, you've expressed an interest in volunteering at the police department. You know us. We now know you really well. They'll be some of the first people we call to say, hey, we could use a little help on the open house, or we could use a little help on Kiwanis Day in the Park, Kids Day in the Park, on the Great Bacon Run. Those are definitely places where there's some real opportunity for volunteerism. And this will be a great mechanism for facilitating that.
Beautiful. All right, let's go back to the Citizens Academy then. The
Yes, sir.
deadline to register is February 25th.
Correct.
And everyone can find the application at gardencitymi.org/police, gardencitymi.org/police. Also, you have it on Facebook.
Yes.
And then it's a 10-week course beginning in March.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, I'm sure the people that are involved in it will be very happy to be involved. And I'm sure after you have the first one, you will have people clamoring to do more. And I'm sure that's what will happen.
Yes.
Sure.
All right.
So
Well,
we look forward to it.
good luck to the both of you, not only with
Thank
this
you.
program, but with everything you do in the community.
All right, thank you, Dan.
Thanks very much. That's it for Omni Edition Garden City for today. Thanks for watching. Good night, everybody.